Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared, and we're about to play Clank, a deck-building adventure. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. Feel free to pause the video as needed to follow along with your copy of the game. My goal is this video can not only teach you to play, but can be shown at the game table to help set up and teach the game at your next game session. As part of that goal, I've added chapter timestamps in the description to the different sections of the tutorial to easily recap relevant rules for you. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below the video so you don't miss any of my latest content. Clank, a deck-building adventure, is a dungeon-diving, treasure-seeking game full of danger and a dragon. Only the greatest burglars can sneak in, steal from the dragon, and escape to tell the tale. You've challenged each other to do just that, to score the most valuable treasures. Through buying new cards into your deck, it will grow with new allies and abilities to help you move, fight, and pick up loot. Careful not to make too much noise that cause a clank as it draws the dragon's attention to you. Hope your friends are louder than you if you want to escape the depths alive. Let's now look at how to set up the game. The game board is double-sided for variable gameplay. I recommend starting with the starting game side that looks like this with the market spaces next to each other in the center. Each player chooses a color to be and takes the 30 Clank cubes and pawn in their color in front of them. Each pawn piece will start at the top of the board at the entrance to the dungeon. Give each player an identical starting deck of cards. They have a gray banner at the top. There's 6 burgles, 2 stumbles, 1 sidestep, and 1 scramble. These should be shuffled and kept in front of you as a deck on your left, with room to play cards, then area to the right to place discarded cards. Any extra starting deck cards not used for other players can return to the game box. On the game board, place the 7 artifacts shaped as hexagons into their marked spaces face up. Each one is worth a number of points as shown on it. If playing with less than 4 players, some of them should be randomly removed from the game before putting them out. In a 3-player game, return 1 to the box. With 2 players, return 2. Shuffle the major secrets face down and place them randomly on each major secret space on the map. Keep them face down on the board. There are going to be extras, so return those to the box. Now shuffle the minor secret tokens face down and place 2 stacked together on each minor secret space. In the market area, place 2 master keys, 2 backpacks, and 3 crowns. Put the 3 monkey idols on the monkey shrine room. Put the mastery tokens near the top of the board above the pawns, 1 for each player. Create a supply bank of gold tokens near the board. Place the dragon marker on the rage track according to player count. You'll see different numbers of players' icons on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd spaces. Put the dragon's 24 black cubes in the dragon bag and set it aside for now. Find and place the 2-sided goblin monster card next to the game board in the reserves, along with the stacks of mercenary, explorer, and secret tome cards. Take the remaining Clank cards and shuffle them together to create the dungeon deck. Deal 6 off the top face up to the table to form the dungeon row. If any drawn have the dragon attack symbol, replace them with new cards from the deck. Any replaced can now be reshuffled into the dungeon deck. Keep room next to the deck for a discard pile. Each player draws 5 cards from their shuffled personal decks to create their hand. The sneakiest player gets to go first, or you can choose randomly. At the start, the first player places 3 of their Clank cubes in the Clank area. The second player puts 2, third player puts 1, and fourth player none. During a game of Clank, each player will be building their own unique deck through the purchasing of cards in either the dungeon row or reserves. Using cards effectively and efficiently will help you navigate the dungeon pathways and fight off enemies in your way. Everything you do in the game is driven and controlled by the cards played on your turn, including movement, attacking, and buying other cards to your deck. Your main objective is to get into the depths of the dungeon and steal one of the artifacts. Each player is limited to carrying only one unless you purchase the backpack item. After retrieving an artifact, you should return to your starting point outside the dungeon, earning you a bonus 20 points. The first player to do this no longer takes normal turns after that one. The only thing they do is move their pawn one space to the right to count down final turns for remaining players still in the dungeon. The second, third, and fourth spaces trigger dragon attacks with extra cubes drawn from the bag each time. Moving to the final spot causes all players still in the dungeon to be knocked out. If you take your time to exit, you may risk being knocked out by the dragon. If any player gets to 10 damage on their health track at the bottom of the board, they are knocked out and out of the game. If that player was in the depths below the surface line on the board, they die and cannot win. Players who get knocked out above the depths stop playing, but still get to score their points at the end. If knocked out without gaining an artifact yet, you also lose and can't score your points. There are many ways to earn points in Clank. The artifacts have points on them, as do monkey idols and even some major and minor secrets. All gold collected converts into points as well. Many cards you purchase are worth victory points, shown by the number at the top in green. On your turn, play all 5 cards in your hand in front of you in any order and allocate all the resources you wish. Playing cards means putting it down on the table in front of you into what's called your play area. You can use all generated resources from these cards to take actions in combination. You'll be able to take each action as many times as you like, as long as you can spend the resources generated to do it. You can wait to take your actions after you've played all your cards, or take actions between playing cards. Not only can cards provide resources, but some have other special effects written in the brown area below the artwork. These could be positive or negative effects. Once you've played all your cards and used as much of your resources as you want, your turn ends. Put all the played cards into your personal discard pile and draw 5 new cards from your deck to prepare for your next turn. Turns go clockwise around the table. Any extra skill points, swords, or boots generated on your turn you don't use are wasted. Nothing carries over. Finally, any empty spaces in the dungeon row are refilled with new cards from the top of the dungeon deck. Make sure to refill and resolve this card upkeep step before the next player's turn. When new cards arrive in the dungeon during this refill, check for 3 different effects that may be triggered on these cards. The first is the arrive effect in blue, found at the bottom of some cards. It also has a blue exclamation point next to it. Resolve the text on any of these cards first. Next, look for a Dragon Rage attack on newly revealed cards. It has a dragon pictured at the bottom right. No matter how many dragons are revealed, only trigger an attack once. Additionally, look for danger cards in orange sitting in the row. These will increase the power of the dragon attack. To resolve an attack, first put all the Clank cubes in the Clank area into the dragon bag. Next, look at the space the dragon token is standing on the rage track. The number of cubes shown there, plus any increases from danger cards, are how many cubes should be drawn from the bag. Any black dragon cubes are set aside, while any player color cubes are added directly to their health track as damage. The angrier the dragon gets, the more he moves along the rage track, increasing the number of cubes drawn during attacks. Anytime a player picks up an artifact or a dragon egg, he advances. Dragon eggs are found on some minor secrets, so should be revealed if picked up. After resolving the attack, proceed to the next player's turn. Now let's look more closely at the game board and its features. You'll need to move from space to space following the tunnels. Some tunnels are one way, indicated by an arrow on one side. You must spend 1 boots resource from cards played to move to an adjacent space. You can keep moving from space to space as long as you have boots to spend. The 2 tunnels on the left and right sides of the board have a hand icon on them. These connect to each other and wrap around to the other side. You can travel them by spending 1 boot like normal. Some tunnels have other special rules. Tunnels with the footprints icon means you must pay 2 boots to go through it. A tunnel with a monster icon means you'll be attacked when going through it. For each monster icon present, you'll take a damage and put 1 of your cubes from your supply onto your health track. You could try to avoid the damage by spending the sword resource. 1 sword would prevent 1 incoming damage. You don't have to spend your swords this way. However, you can't choose to take the damage if it would fill up your health bar, knocking you out. Lastly, if you see a padlock icon on the tunnel, you can't move through it unless you've purchased the Master Key token from the market. When moving your pawn into a room, you can take one token present there. It might be a minor secret, major secret, monkey idol, or artifact. Reveal it and keep them in front of you. The secrets generally have bonuses on them that you can save and spend whenever you like, this turn or future turns. For details or questions on any you pick up, check the reference guide on the back of the rulebook. Since you can only hold one artifact at a time, you don't have to take an artifact when moving to its space. Choosing which artifact to ultimately take is part of your strategy. Additionally, whenever a player gains an artifact, the dragon moves forward on the rage track. The crystal caves are special rooms found on the board. When entering a crystal cave, you become exhausted while wandering its maze-like passages. Gameplay-wise, it means you can't use any more boots this turn. You could still teleport out of it, but you can't use boots until your next turn. There are 4 market spaces found on the map, representing where merchants are serving those who explore the dungeons. If your pawn is in a market room, you may make a purchase. Each market item costs 7 gold, which you would pay back to the supply. Put the item token in front of you. The Master Key is worth 5 points and allows you to use all tunnels with a lock icon. The backpack is worth 5 points and lets you gain a second artifact. The crown is worth the number of points shown. Lastly, you'll find a couple rooms on the map that have a heart icon. These are fountains of healing. When entering the room, you may heal 1 damage from your health bar. Remove it and put it back in your personal supply. New cards can be purchased during your turn by spending skill points provided by cards and some secrets. Cards in the reserves and dungeon row can be bought, except the goblin. These skill points can be freely spent on face-up cards on your turn to purchase them. The cost of a card is always found in the bottom corner. As with most deck building games, the newly gained cards always go in the player's discard pile. Newly purchased cards are not played, but just collected to your discard pile. Whenever you are to draw a card, but your deck is empty, shuffle all the cards in your discard pile to make a new deck. This is how the purchased cards eventually come into your hand. As players buy different cards, everyone's deck becomes very unique and even specialized in different ways. The 3 cards most available in the reserves are these 3 with the yellow banner. The Mercenary card gives you a skill point and 2 swords, used as combat points to fight monsters. The Explorer card gives you 2 skill points and 1 boots icon, which is used to move to an adjacent space on the board, following the white lines and arrows. Many cards purchasable in the dungeon row provide a combination of these resources. The Goblin is a special monster card that is always on the table. A player may spend 2 sword resources to attack it and gain 1 gold coin. It can be fought multiple times if a player wants to spend more sword resources available. Whenever gaining gold, take it from the bank supply and put it in front of you. They're worth 1 point each at the end of the game and can be spent on items in the market. Device cards are special cards with a purple banner and come out into the dungeon row. A device's effect can be triggered on a player's turn by spending the skill points shown in its corner. Instead of gaining the card, resolve the card's effects and discard it to the dungeon deck discard pile. Some cards, like the Stumble card, forces you to add Clank to the Clank area of the board. Place your Clank cubes there to sit until an attack happens. You may also play cards that remove Clank. These effects only remove your cubes from the Clank area of the board and not from the bag directly. Should you run out of cubes, you don't have to take damage or add Clank until you get more back from healing off your health track. Cards that come into the dungeon row after a player's turn may have an immediate arrive effect to resolve before the next player's turn. Do all these effects as written at the bottom of the card. Other cards have an acquire ability on them, shown at the bottom. This effect is triggered when a player buys it from the dungeon row. It never resolves again. Some cards will tell you to discard 1 or more cards. Only cards in your hand you haven't played yet can be discarded. Whatever effects or abilities found on the discarded card won't be triggered. Some cards have effects that depend on things you have or things done on your turn. You'll get these effects regardless of the order you play your cards. The trash ability given from some cards and minor secrets lets you permanently remove a card from your play area or discard pile. return it to the game box. The teleport ability is a special movement provided by some card effects. It allows you to move your pawn to any room connected to your current one without needing to pay boots or fight monsters in that tunnel. You can use a teleport to enter a locked or one-way passage you wouldn't normally be able to go through. Cards that provide swords, such as the Mercenary, can be used to attack monsters in tunnels while moving, the Goblin, or any monster revealed in the dungeon row. All monster cards have a red banner. They cannot be gained or bought with skill points like other cards. Instead, you can choose to spend swords to defeat them. The number of swords required to defeat a monster is shown in its lower right corner. Defeating the monster gives you the reward listed in its defeat text. Then discard the monster to the dungeon deck discard pile. The only monster not removed when attacked and defeated is the Goblin. It can be attacked any number of times and never goes away. Keep the rulebook handy and check BoardGameGeek.com for FAQs and extra content. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful. Stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.